Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. And we're back again for another Fit to Fight for Christ Ministries show. Different day, different time, but we're still talking about the Most High and Christ, how we can improve, how we can grow. And what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about health and how to be healthy and having a strategy, because we're very much fighting a spiritual warfare. And one of the things that Satan and the enemy is attacking us with is food. We seek food for fellowship, we seek food for comfort, and oftentimes are we making good food choices? The answer is no. So we got a guest that we're going to bring on, and she's going to go on and go into it and give us some strategies and give us some practical things that really help. Before we do that, we're going to bring on the founder of Fit to Fight for Christ Ministries, Chaplain David Lee Williams. How you doing this morning, Chaplain?
Hey, how's it going? God bless you, man of God. Amen. Blessed and highly favored.
I can't complain.
Man, I'm excited, brother. I'm so excited about today's podcast. You have no idea, bro.
Yeah. So I know going to church and going to church functions. I know you go to a lot of church functions. Like, what foods might you see there at these different church functions, Chaplain?
Well, everything that's not good. High in carbs, high in fats. Food that makes the body tired and lethargic. You got to have your soul food. You got to have your greens, your sweet yams, and all of these different foods that are, initially they're not very healthy for you, brother. I mean, very seldom do you see at most of these outings, these venues. Very seldom do you see, dishes with green leafy vegetables and dishes that are high in vitamins and minerals. Nah, but you gotta have the soul food, potato salad right there in the corner. Gotta have your cornbread and all these other things. So so that's what you see a lot of times. And like, I'm so excited about today and the special guest that you invited and bringing on, because I think the body of Christ, we do really need to have some more education and enlightenment when it comes to what we put in our body, as the scriptures say that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So, yeah, man, it's an awesome day. Looking forward for the special guest to come on, and looking forward for us to get into this, because I have a lot of questions.
You got a lot. Okay. Well, this is a young lady. She's a sister in Christ. Well, I see her not just a sister in Christ, she's a true soldier for the kingdom, and she's fighting to help us to walk in better health and wholeness. Her name is Karen Ramirez, but many of you know her online as the Blood Sugar Babe.
The Blood Sugar Babe.
With over 81,000 followers on TikTok and 42,000 on Instagram. Karen has built a powerful community where she teaches people how to reverse insulin resistance. So, like, insulin, I never heard that before. Believe me, she's going to tell you and break it down for you, and reset their metabolism in just 90 days. She's helped countless people, hundreds of people, overcome sugar cravings. I'm one of them. Shed unwanted weight and restore their energy, often seeing real transformation in the first 30 days. That's amazing. You built up all this weight and stuff over years, and it's not just the product that she introduced, it's the information that is transformational as well. Her message is simple but life-changing. When you balance your blood sugar, your body naturally heals. And she lives that out as a Christian sister, but also a soldier in Christ. reminding us that taking care of our body is part of honoring God with our whole being, body, mind, and spirit. We're excited to hear her journey, her wisdom behind her whole mission and her story. So let's bring on Karen. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much for having me and being open to having this conversation, because I think it's so important for everybody, and especially for our brothers and sisters in Christ, to start honoring and taking care of their body.
So could you just
For sure.
introduce yourself to the Fit and Fight for Christ followers and listeners about a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my name is Karen, and I started to educate about metabolic health about 3 years ago. I really got inspired when I was able to help my dad get off his blood pressure, cholesterol medication, and also reduce a lot of his rheumatoid arthritis medication. My dad had a lot of inflammation in his body. It caused him a lot of pain. And he was taking quite a bit of medication, like a big maraca of medication is what I call it, because that pill box would shake quite a bit. And so I came across this protocol that I'll share with you guys today 3 years ago. And he was one of the first people that I was like, Dad, you got to try this. And what I saw happen to my dad in 90 days made me realize that I had a stewardship. I've always been somebody who loved teaching. I love to educate. I love to break down concepts. I've always been a good speaker. There's all these, God gives us so many gifts. He calls us by name from the very beginning, right? And so when that happened, and my dad and I saw this opportunity to help others, it sparked that fire in me and that passion in me. And I felt that this was something that I had to do. And so I went all in, and I started to educate on social media about metabolic health and the causes of metabolic health and insulin resistance. And the outpouring of people that are yearning for a solution, that need help, was so overwhelming to me that I decided to basically do this full time. And so this is what I do. I create content, obviously, and I educate about metabolic health, and I give people a lot of solutions that they can apply just through lifestyle and changes. But I also involve tools, and I have a protocol that I offer to people that helps them really get really great results in 90 days, that allows their body to sort of heal so that they can move past and do the things they need to do through lifestyle. Because a lot of the times we try to make all these lifestyle changes, but because the body isn't healed, there's a lot of resistance. And so this protocol allows people to get past that resistance so that they can then do all the things that they need to do. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
You spoke about your dad, and for a lot of us now, our parents are getting older. So could you go a little bit more on how you help your dad, and how we could use this protocol to help our aging parents?
Yeah, well, a lot of illness ends up manifesting in later life, right? Not because we all of a sudden get it. It's because we have put our body through years and years and years and years and years of stress and bad eating and so many things that I'll touch upon today. And so by the time your parents are aging, chances are that they're on medication. This is true for 80% of the American population. Everybody that I know, I mean, if you look around, I'm sure that you or someone you know is either on a statin medication, a blood sugar medication, right?
For sure. For sure.
And so this protocol allowed my father in 90 days to be able to reduce all those biomarkers and be able to get off medication, because medication will never be a solution. It is a Band-Aid that treats the symptom, but it doesn't actually get to the root. And you gotta cut it off at the root, right, in order to get true healing. And so this protocol is something that can help our aging parents, but even ourselves, to become metabolically healthy, so that we don't have to rely on medication. Or even if you're not at that point, you don't have to get to that point. You don't have to end up in the statistic of of all the people that are struggling with heart disease and cholesterol issues and blood pressure issues and blood sugar issues and weight issues. I mean, it's everybody.
Chaplain Dave, you said you had some questions for Karen?
Yes. Like I said, this is a answer prayer. First and foremost, I want to say, Karen, again, thank you for coming on to the 55 for Christ show. We're definitely going to have you back. This is a journey that me and us, of course, Elder, we've been going through for some time too. I have been personally, I've witnessed Elder's journey and his weight loss journey and the things that he's went through. And I myself, me and him both were, I should say, still kind of, we've been on blood pressure meds for some time. And, you know, for me, it was definitely, like you said before, a lot of times it's the body. It is because that we're not physically fit and healthy that we have a lot of issues, especially when we want to do the things that we need to do, things for the kingdom that need to be done. But when the body is sick and unhealthy, you know, we're not able to do that, you know. And so for me as well, I've been on a personal journey as well as to eating better and everything. But like some questions. One thing I wanted to ask you was a little bit about, like, if you've ever heard of proteolytic enzymes, which are pretty much just more or less for the digestive tract. You know, a lot of times they say, well, the immune system, and I've been doing a little research too, and I know that digestive tract has a lot to do with us being healthy and strong, and also getting rid of the toxins and all of the inflammation that is in the body that hinders us and everything. And so I've been using proteolytic enzymes as well as changing my diet. I can now, you know, knock on wood, God's grace, my diet is about 85%. I'm vegan. I'm not a full vegetarian, so I'm not vegan, full vegetarian, but 80% vegan because I know, you know, not from my own personal experience, but also, you know, talking to others and research that, you know, the body does function better when you eat more vegetables and fruits and things of that nature, and meat. So, you know, and if I do eat meat, I don't eat pork, nothing to do with, like I said before, our beef is just chicken or fish for the most part, but I do eat a lot of vegetables and stuff, and I've noticed the changes in my body and my skin, energy levels, and also the weight. I mean, I've looked at Elder and how the weight has come off of him, and it's just been so inspiring. I've told him that so many times. And so with everything that you're going to go into about, you know, the blood sugars and insulin and things of that nature, I'm very interested. My parents are both, just like, you know, Elder knows, my parents, they're in their 70s, and all of them, they have a taco box of medication. When I heard you talk about that, I was thinking about my parents. I see them every day, and it's like 15 to 20 different pills they're taking, and they got to take a pill because this has a side effect. Then they take a pill for this side effect, and it's like this plethora of just these meds that they're on and they can't get off. And, you know, I remember my doctor was telling me, you know, when I've been on blood pressure meds for maybe a year and a half or so. I've been kind of weaning myself off of it, but he was like, yeah, well, you'll never get off your blood pressure meds. And I'm like, I mean, that just can't be, you know, because they tell you, they kind of program you. The doctor's like, hey, you come back, you know, like you said, they don't solve anything. They just write you a prescription and send you on your merry little way. And, you know, and that's the kind of, basically that's the kind of the maze, the trap that most of us are in. And so, yeah, so I just want to just, like I said before, I know I've said a lot, but I just really am really interested just to see about how can we naturally just, you know, lower our blood sugar levels, and how can we get the weight off and keep it off. Like my parents, you know, they're old school. So it's like, it's
they're not
almost
gonna go
like,
vegan.
you know, mom and dad, you know, it's like, you got to change, you got to do this, you got to exercise.
All right,
you got to
Chaplain.
drink more water, but, you know,
let's let her in and answer some of those questions. I think you gave a whole list of stuff.
No.
Over to you, Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
I think that's really admirable. The fact that you decided to make these like lifestyle and diet changes is something that a lot of people won't do because it's very difficult for them. So my strategy is not to focus on dietary changes in the very beginning. Because it can become overwhelming to, you know, decide one day, you know, I'm going to stop eating all processed food. I'm going to stop eating all sugar. I'm going to stop. This is a lot of the times how people end up yo-yo dieting, when they all restrict everything all at once. or they go on these diets where they're eliminating food groups, it becomes very difficult to maintain that. Right. And I'm not saying that you are on a yo-yo diet, but that is a lifestyle. Being vegan is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. Right. So I really focus on explaining to people why insulin is the root cause. And if we can fix blood sugar and insulin, the diet part will come. All right. So let me walk you through it, and I'll sort of explain a little bit of the physiology behind it. Okay. So in the entire pool of our bodies, okay, we have about 6 liters of blood coursing through our bodies, through our veins. In that entire 6 liters, you can only have 5 grams of sugar in it. Okay, so what's 5 grams? I have a little demo for you so you guys can see. All right, 5 grams is 1 teaspoon. That's all. Okay, and the body is a very tightly regulated system. So if you have more than 1 teaspoon, that sends alert to your body. All right, something needs to happen. We need to get this blood sugar out of the bloodstream immediately. All right. And so think about all the food that we are consuming on a day-to-day basis, how often we eat, and what are the foods that we're consuming. Because when we look at our diet, 70% of our calories come from carbohydrates. Okay. And this is especially true in North America, but it's also true globally. 70% of our diet is carbohydrates. So think about the constant sugar that is being put into our bloodstream all the time, right? So you eat, your blood sugar could go up this much, right? It could go up, it could go up. It doesn't, everybody's different. But the point is that this is the amount that your body needs to maintain. And so what your body does is it has this really amazing hormone, okay? That hormone is called insulin. And insulin has a couple of purposes in the body. But one of them is to control blood sugar. And this is the context in which most people hear about insulin. Type 2 diabetics or type 1 diabetics, they need to either take insulin, inject insulin, but they don't actually understand the full picture. So insulin is a hormone that your body naturally produces, okay? It's produced by your pancreas. And so what happens is when the blood sugar rises, insulin will rise in your body. And insulin's job is to act like a bridge between the sugar in the bloodstream, because you can't use it there, so that it can be stored inside the body, okay? Inside the body. And that's how you get energy. That's how you get cells. Our body has 30 trillion cells. They all need energy. And so that is how your body is getting energy. It's through insulin being the gatekeeper of the cells, okay? Now, what happens is that your body has this ability to develop what's called resistance, okay? And this is true for things like coffee, right? We know this to be true for addictive substances. We know this to be true for antibiotics. You can develop resistance to things, right? You go to the gym, that's called resistance training, right? Because you're resisting, right? So your body has the ability to develop resistance to our biological processes, all right? And in this case, it's insulin. So as we continue to give our body the stimuli all the time of insulin, because we're always eating, right? Constantly eating. We're eating a lot of carbs. Insulin is always elevated in our bodies all the time, okay? That constant stimulation of insulin, the cells start to resist it, okay? Maybe if you have kids or, maybe you're in a church, you realize that you stop hearing the volume, right? In the church function or at the house, because it's so noisy all the time, right? You kind of it's just part of your normal, okay, this is the volume. You don't even hear it anymore. Well, the same thing happens to the cells. The cells start to resist insulin. And now your body is not properly moving the blood sugar through. But the body is so resilient, so smart, okay, that what will happen is it will start to release more insulin, all right? And so now your insulin levels are higher, your blood sugar is normal. You might go to the doctor. Your blood sugar may be completely fine, but the amount of insulin that's required for your body to process that blood sugar has increased. Now we have a higher threshold that's required. And this happens for years and years and years and years and years. Now, I'll tell you the sad part, okay? You can test fasting insulin. You can test your insulin levels, but you will have to fight your doctor. They don't do it, okay? And the reason is because there is no pill to bring insulin levels down. There is only a pill to treat all the symptoms that the high insulin levels cause. So these high insulin levels not only cause eventually things like prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, because there's so much insulin in the body that it can't produce anymore. And so now some of that sugar is staying outside. That's how you get high blood sugar. But this high insulin also causes high blood pressure. Okay. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, blood pressure is caused by too much salt. It's not true, right? We, for generations and generations, we've cured our meats in salt, right? We didn't have refrigerators. You had to cure meats in salt. We ate a lot. Our kidneys are really, really good at secreting sodium, right? But not when insulin's high. So high insulin causes things like high blood pressure. High insulin causes high cholesterol, for example, because what happens is when your insulin levels are high, your body is storing fat. It's storing fat, and that fat is getting deposited as triglycerides in your arteries. Okay. High insulin causes things like non-alcoholic fatty liver. We have more non-alcoholic fatty liver than ever before. People used to have fatty liver because they were alcoholics, right? Not anymore. Now we have non-alcoholic fatty liver because we are literally eating ourselves into sickness, right? So high insulin causes non-alcoholic fatty liver because the liver is so overwhelmed with all the sugar, all the fructose, okay, that it starts to build, it starts to create new fat, it starts to deposit fat all around the liver, okay? High insulin causes PCOS. The number one cause of infertility right now in North America is PCOS, caused by high insulin levels. High insulin is the cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. It's now known as type 3 diabetes, right? And so when you look at all the diseases, all the things that people are on medication for, they're struggling with, they're related to high insulin levels. All right. Now, high insulin is a storing hormone. So the first job is to control blood sugar, but the second job is to store that sugar somewhere, because sugar is just energy for the body, right? Glucose is the power, the energy of all cells. And so that glucose needs to go somewhere. Okay. Now there's 3 places where your body generally stores this sugar. It can store it in your liver, store it in your muscles, and it can store it in your fat cells. Now, I wish that we were really muscular and had a lot of lean body mass, but we just don't as a society. And so the majority of this food is being stored in the liver or in the fat cells. Now your liver has a small capacity for glucose. It's very small. It's like a water bottle. Okay, it's 100 grams. If you ever ate 2 large McDonald's fries, you've tapped out the glycogen storage in your liver. So whatever's extra gets converted into fat, right? And so when insulin's high, you're also gaining weight. You're storing fat in your body, storing fat in your liver, storing fat in your fat cells, right? And the problem, okay, is that if we ever gave our chance for our insulin levels to come down, if we ever let that happen, then the body would do the reverse, okay? It would start releasing that energy. It would start using those fatty acids. It would start actually doing the opposite. But we never let our body do that because we're constantly eating all the time. Think about it. Breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack, coffee in between, pastry with a muffin in between, right? We're eating all the time. So insulin's always being secreted in our body. And because of years and years and years and years of eating all the carbs, all the way that we eat, well, these insulin thresholds are rising and rising and rising. So now your insulin levels are super, super high, even though your blood sugar may be fine, right? And they test you for blood sugar, but that could take years. It could take you 15 years for your blood sugar to ever go up after having high insulin levels. But there's signs that your insulin levels are high. Hungry all the time, tired all the time, skin tags, hyperpigmentation in the skin, inability to sleep, like insomnia, excess weight that you can't lose, belly fat, visceral fat, right? And then you have obviously the illnesses, high blood pressure, cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver, all the actual metabolic syndrome diseases. So you have 2 buckets of people who are dealing with hyperinsulinemia because their insulin levels are high. And then you have the bucket of people who have been hyperinsulinemic and are now fully dealing with insulin resistance and all the illnesses that's around insulin resistance. Now, you can go vegan, you could do keto, you could do carnivore, you could do all the things, okay? But the problem is that a lot of the times for people, those are not sustainable lifestyle changes. And so what is my message, okay? Instead of us trying to change our whole diet and the way that we eat, right? Because as you said, food is fellowship, right? Imagine that you are you decide to go keto, right? And it's your daughter's birthday. You're not gonna eat the birthday cake, right? And so there has to be, in my mind, there has to be a transition, right? There has to be a transition that leads to a sustainable lifestyle change. And so it starts with this, okay? If you can do the things to bring the insulin levels down, to allow the body to be more metabolically healthy. If you bring the insulin levels down, you will lose weight. If you bring the insulin levels down, you will lower your blood pressure. You will lower your cholesterol. everything, all the biomarkers, all the things that people are on medication for, if they just lowered their insulin levels, all those things would start to improve. I see it time and time again. I can show you messages, stories. I have hundreds of them. So if you bring your insulin levels down, all these things will start to improve. But what happens is this, okay? Insulin is this master hormone in your body. It regulates your hunger. It regulates your satiety. It even regulates your cravings. And we'll talk about gut health in a minute, because you're absolutely right. Gut health is a huge part of it. But it regulates, okay, all these hormonal responses that make you feel hungry or full. So if you bring your insulin levels down, okay, they're not always up, those hunger signalings will start to improve, right? We have this whole surge of Ozempic and GLP-1s. Guess what? GLP-1 is a hormone that's produced in your gut that your body has the ability to produce. It's an incretin hormone. It's produced in your gut. The problem is people don't produce it because their insulin levels are so high. They're eating so much processed food. So if we bring the insulin levels down, you will start to get that stimulation. You'll start to allow your body to produce the hormones that tell you to stop eating. Hey, I'm full. Hey, I've had enough, right? And so you don't need to count calories. You don't need to go on extreme diets. All you need to do is fix the signaling, right? It's only very recently that we started to count calories and do meal plans. We've never had an obesity epidemic. If it should have made the obesity epidemic better, it didn't. It should have made the type 2 diabetes epidemic better. It didn't, because that doesn't work. You actually need to fix the signaling, okay? And when you fix the signaling, all the stuff comes after. All the stuff will be added. And so many people who work with me, they fix the signaling, they start feeling better. As they start feeling better, they will make lifestyle changes, because now their body isn't hungry all the time. It's not craving sugar all the time. We're actually fixing the programming, the paradigm, so that people can make the decisions. People want to change the action without fixing the thing that controls the action. And so you're just using willpower, and willpower runs out. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you strain it, right? And so my strategy is to fix the root cause so that all that other stuff can be added, so that we can do that after, but we have to get to the root cause first, okay? And so there's simple strategies that people can apply to reduce their insulin levels, right? What is the thing that impacts insulin the most is blood sugar. Blood sugar has the most direct effect on insulin. So when your blood sugar is really high, your insulin levels are going to be really high. When you're eating foods that impact your blood sugar really, really high, your insulin levels are going to be really high, especially if you're eating them all day. And so what are simple things that we can do to bring our insulin levels down that don't involve a crazy, eliminating carbs, eliminating sugar, never eating at, the church functions or the family functions ever again? It's things like intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting allows your body to have lower insulin levels, right? Because you're not eating all the time.
Before you get into that,
yeah,
I want to go and read some of the comments that we have, but I do want you to get into that. I want you to get into the steps, but I want to go and read some of the comments that people have put it in, so you and Chaplain Dave can see what people are saying. This is kingdom teaching, spirit, soul, and body alignment. Such encouragement for those struggling with health issues. I love how faith and science meet here. There's loads. Amen. Lord, help me to take care of my health. Such encouragement. I feel motivated to start my own health journey. And I think this is beneficial for you, Karen, because I've been on a lot of your lives, and it's just going, and you're going through the information, and you miss a lot of good stuff that people are saying about what you are saying. Truly, our body is the Lord's temple.
Yes. Karen, that was a question. That was a question I was just going to ask you as well. Was about intermediate fasting. So you've already touched on it. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, let me get a few more of these comments, and then we'll give it back to Karen. This message is full of grace, wisdom, and truth. So I just wanted to read some of those comments to see the comments that people are putting in here. We got over 800 live viewers, and yes, Karen, please tell us about the steps that we can do, the practical steps we can do with intermittent fasting. So back to you.
Yeah, so I really like that comment. This message is so full of grace. That's a big mission of mine. I I want to reach people with love. I want to reach people with grace and telling them like, hey, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. There's this whole like concept of like sloth, right? Gluttony,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that is true. There's nothing, I'm not negating that, but that's not all it is. We live in a very difficult food environment. We live
Under
in
attack.
Yeah, it's an attack. We live in a medical
For sure.
system that is not really built to help us. It's built to keep us
not at
on
all.
the treadmill. Yeah. Of
Exactly.
medication. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I come to people with saying, hey, like it's not just discipline and willpower. There's something deeper. And if we can understand that, then you will be empowered to take action. Right. So one of the practical steps is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is something that I love because it's free. You can do it for free. And it's something that our bodies are set up to do. Like physiologically, in our biological processes are set up to intermittent fast. Our bodies can do it, and they're made to do it. This is why, I mean, the Bible talks about fasting. There's a reason, right? Yes, we can talk about, denying the flesh and all that. There's a spiritual aspect to it, but there's also a practical aspect to it. We can even see that in the Old Testament, right? You look at all the Levitical laws, and if you actually look at all if you actually were to do a deep dive into the reason for some of those Levitical laws, you would see that they were for health purposes. They were for sanitary purposes. They were to keep the people healthy and prospering in their body, right? So our God is great, and fasting is a tool that was given to us to have better health, right? Because intermittent fasting, right? Think about it like this, all right? And again, a little bit more physiology here, but whenever you eat and your blood sugar rises, okay, that process of the blood sugar going up, that happens quite quickly, but for it to come down, that's about a 2-hour process. Okay, so blood sugar rises, blood sugar drops, 2 hours. But insulin's a hormone. So when blood sugar rises and insulin rises to bring this blood sugar back down, this insulin doesn't come down right away. This process takes about 4 to 5 hours. So while your blood sugar may be stabilized within 2 hours, your insulin levels are still elevated, okay? And so if we're eating all the time, right? The average American has about 11 eating events per day. Your insulin levels are always elevated. They're always high. Now, when you sleep, you don't eat, right? So technically you're fasted, but the problem is that it's not enough time, because when you go to bed, right? How many hours before were you eating? And chances are that it was like not that long ago. People eat, like they snack late into the night, they eat while they watch TV at night. So your insulin realistically for the average person isn't coming down until like maybe 2 a.m., right? And then you get up at 6 a.m. and have the most important meal of the day, as per Kellogg's, and then you eat right away. And so there wasn't enough time for your insulin levels to come down. And so if you actually prolong that overnight fast by practicing intermittent fasting, right, by skipping that first meal of the day, you just gave your body a huge break from insulin, right? Imagine that compounded over year, days, weeks, months. Now your insulin levels are going to be lower. And this is something that is a lifestyle change, right? And I always tell people, always ask me, how long should you fast for? You have to start slowly, right? Start with 12 hours. What's a 12-hour fast? Can you stop eating at 9 p.m. and not eat again until 9 a.m. the next morning? Like, is that doable? That's 12 hours, right? So can you do a 12-hour fast? If that's really easy for you, move on to 13, move on to 14, move on to 15. Most of the clinical research and like the peer-reviewed studies show that a 16-hour period is probably the most optimal. So anywhere from if you can aim for eventually getting to 14 to 18 hours, and somewhere in between 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like it will change with your events, it will change with, life circumstances, it will change. But if you can sort of aim for that, that's a really great place to be. I do that every single day. I fast every single day. Okay. And I also teach women how to fast.
Karen, during that time period, what could you have in that intermittent? Can you drink water?
So you can have water,
coffee.
Yeah. Anything with no sugar, no so you can have water, you can have black coffee, you can have black tea. Okay. When I share with you guys my protocol, you'll see that this is what I have. Okay. Because this completely just eliminates cravings, hunger. I'm able to fast for even longer. Okay. This year was the first year that I ever did a 40-day fast. And it was not for health. It was actually for like a spiritual reason. I didn't not eat for 40 days. I just did a 24-hour fast every single day for 40 days. And if it wasn't for this, I like, it was still hard, but this helped me so much to actually do it because it was the first time I ever did it. And I didn't think I was going to be able to. But I did it for a whole 40 days with this. It helped me so much. And so next time that I decide to do that, I'm going to be more prepared. Maybe I can do it without it, or, there's steps to it. You go slowly, but it just eliminates all the cravings, all the hunger, and you're able to actually fast. But you can also use other tools like tea, black coffee, water, and stay hydrated, drink electrolytes. Those are all things that can help you to, do the fast. The thing about intermittent fasting is that people don't allow themselves to get over the hump. So all the food that you consume turns into something called glucose. Okay, so glucose is our energy source in life. That's what gives us your cells energy. It's glucose. There is actually something else that has a similar caloric value as glucose. It's called ketones. So when you're fasting and your insulin levels come down, your body will want to start making ketones. That ketone production doesn't start right away. And so while the ketone production is getting going, you're going to feel a little bit hungry, right? Because you're fasting and you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But as you continue the fasting and that ketone production starts to ramp up, those ketones will go into the blood, and your brain will be feasting on the ketones. So it won't be looking for glucose. It will be now excited to eat the ketones. And so that's why as you intermittent fast more and more, you actually start to feel less hungry because that ketone production is ramping up and your body's actually getting food from your fat. Because what ketones are, that's how your fat basically gets oxidized. The fat, the triglycerides that are stored as fat, they basically convert into fatty acids. Those fatty acids go into the blood as ketones, essentially. And so you're eating fat. Your brain's eating fat in the form of ketones, and you don't feel hungry. So it's something that people just need to push a little bit further to experience the lack of hunger and to get over that sort of hump in the intermittent fasting period.
I have a question in regards to that as well, too. I've also heard that with intermittent fasting as well, is that it also gives the body, the digestive system, like your pancreas and liver and the kidneys, it gives those organs time to rest and reset. Like you said earlier, Karen, we're always putting things in our body. We're always constantly eating and eating and eating, and we're not giving our body the time that it needs for the organs to reset. So maybe you can add something onto that. I mean, I've read, but that's what I heard, but I just want to get a little confirmation about that.
You're absolutely right. Digestion is a huge process in our bodies. Huge. When we are constantly digesting food, you're putting all the organs in your body under a lot of strain. And so when you actually stop eating for a minute, your pancreas will get a break, your kidneys will get a break, everything gets a break. But also on a cellular level, there's something that gets produced. It's called autophagy. So autophagy is the process of your cells renewing. Basically, your body will get rid of dead cells and allow new cells to regenerate. And so this is super vital and important for our bodies. Our body has this like detoxification system through fasting that we can engage in, but we don't do it. Right? We don't do it. We don't tap into it. So yeah, absolutely. Fasting is amazing. Okay. Amazing to actually let us detoxify and repair cells, generate new cells, and also give our organs a break from digesting food. Yeah.
Are you motivated? That's very motivating. I try to fast twice a week, as well. I do a 24-hour fast, like you said,
Nice.
and it has made a big difference. So thanks, Karen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a question, and it says, does God really care about what we eat? So I've got one of Karen's videos where she shows what she eats when she breaks her fast. And you can look at this too, Chaplain David. So we can see, is she starving herself or is she eating healthy food? So let's have a look at this.
Food, energy, and burn. First, steak, eggs, potato, mayo, and cucumber and tomato salad. Black cherry kombucha. And for dessert, Greek yogurt and a banana. Steak, egg, tomato and cucumber, potato and mayo. yogurt, and banana. How I break my fast to control blood sugar, boost.
Now, how many calories was that?
I don't count calories.
Yeah,
I don't know.
please elaborate.
That does not looking. That does not looking. That does. You do not look like you ate that much food.
Like you can eat all of that.
I promise you, I ate that I ate all of it. I ate all of it. I don't count calories, so I can't tell you. But I will say that, like, I make sure that so I usually eat twice a day. I break my fast. I have that first meal, and then I have dinner. I make sure I get like protein in there. I stock up my plate. I eat a lot. I have a healthy appetite.
So if we look at some of the foods that was on there, it was potatoes. That's carbs.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Good carbs. Good carbs.
So you add carbs. So you can have carbs.
Absolutely. Carbs are not the enemy. You just gotta eat them properly, right? And that's the other strategy that I share with people is our carbs as we eat them today have been adulterated. They are not in the form that we're supposed to eat them. I mean, when you look at nature and you look at carbs as they exist in nature, they exist, right? There's fruits, there's vegetables, there's grains. These are things that God gives us. We can eat them. They're there to be eaten, but not in the way that we eat them right now. Because the food industry has taken this food and adulterated it, and it's not the same. And the biggest change that has been made is that all the fiber that's in the food has been taken out. Everything is genetically modified to grow bigger and more starchy and less fibrous, right? Potatoes, right? Like, think about a potato. Potatoes are actually a newer thing, but they weren't that big always. They were smaller. They were a lot smaller. Things like fruits and vegetables, they weren't the quantity, the size that we're eating. It's because when you go to the grocery store, you pay by weight, right? So nothing is how it seems. And so listen, you can't leave the environment, but you can be smart about how you consume the food. I am not going to go out of my way to, drive however long to find organic potatoes. Like, if I can, great. If I happen to come across them, amazing. I'm also not gonna, and this is the part of the sustainability, right? So I'm gonna have potatoes. I love potatoes. I'm gonna have rice. I love rice, but I'm gonna add in what's been missing. And what is missing is the fiber, okay? And this is where the gut health comes in. When we look at our population, 95% of it is fiber deficient, not getting enough fiber. And this is a huge problem because our gut is our second brain. Everything, 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And 90% of the serotonin that our body produces is produced in our gut. All our satiety hormones and peptides come from our gut. So when you have really bad gut health, you will crave more sugar. You will be tired all the time. It is essential to your health. You will get sick more often. I can't remember the last time I was sick. And so the key with that is having more fiber. When you look at the blue zones of the world, the places where people live the longest, they have one thing in common, okay? They consume a lot of fiber, right? And so, and they're random places. Like, you have Loma Linda, California. They have a huge population of Seventh-day Adventists, right? And so I think they're vegan. Or is it? Yeah. No, maybe they're not Seventh-day Adventists. Anyways, it doesn't matter. They have a huge population there of a particular group that consumes like a lot of vegan, vegetarian food. So they eat a lot of fiber. You have Sardinia, Italy. You have a place in Costa Rica. You have Tokyo. There are like these blue zones in the world where people consume so much fiber and they live longer, right? And so it's not that you have to eliminate carbs, but you do have to have fiber before your carbs, which is why you will always see me mix my fiber matrix before my carbs, right? Am I gonna always have a huge salad before I eat? No, it's not realistic for my lifestyle, okay? But I can have a tool, right? That's why I'm a big advocate for tools. And so the fiber matrix that I consume, okay, it has a 42% reduction. You will experience a 42% reduction in blood sugar in blood sugar spikes. It has 7 sources of fiber with multiple vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and so it feeds your gut health too. So I have that before I eat my carbs. So I still have carbs, but I just have fiber before I eat my carbs. And I mean, you don't have to do it with the fiber matrix. You can, have a big bowl of broccoli. The next day you can have some artichokes before you eat carbs. But the point is that you must have fiber before carbs to add in what's missing, because fiber has multiple functions. Okay, so one of them is it blunts the blood sugar spikes. So when you have fiber with your carbs, your blood sugar is going to be more controlled. The second thing that it does is that it helps with fat absorption. So if you have high cholesterol, high triglycerides, consuming fiber is going to help you to lower those levels. Fiber also slows down gastric emptying, so that food stays in your stomach for longer. You're not going to feel as hungry as quickly, and it's also going to feed all your gut bacteria. So fiber is super essential. It's an essential. We need to consume fiber. And so if you have fiber before your carbs, then you're actually controlling your blood sugar. If you control your blood sugar, you're controlling how much insulin your body needs to control that blood sugar because you already controlled it, right? And so this is going to help you maintain low insulin levels. So I don't eliminate carbs. I just have fiber before my carbs. And then I will end up consuming less carbs.
So that being said, Karen, you got many, Christians, brothers and sisters, and they go into a church function, or maybe they're going out. And I remember you talking about going to a restaurant and you're having the bread. Mm-hmm. So we're at a church function. We've got salad. We've got some kind of meat. We've got bread stuffs. What should I have first?
Yeah, food odor. Yeah, food odor is crucial. So you wanna apply this strategy. So this is what I teach people. You want to apply the strategy of FFPC. So FFPC stands for fiber, fat, protein, carbs last. So if you have a whole buffet of food, and that buffet of food has, salads and potato salad and macaroni and steak and whatever it is, okay, the way that you want to eat is you want to first consume your salad, so have the fiber first. Then you want to make sure you get some fat in, right? So, hopefully there's some sort of olive oil or sort of avocados. You want to start having healthy fats at your church functions. Whether it's an avocado salad or something like that. Okay, so you have fiber, fat, then you have your protein. You do not get to eat carbs until you have finished your fiber, fat, and protein. And if you eat like that, you can still consume your carbs, but I promise you that you will consume less of them and the impact that they have will be lower. So I always tell people eat in that order. FFPC, fiber, fat, protein, carbs last. So have your bread last. Still have your bread, but just have it after. Still have your rice. Let that be after. Now, we can't always eat in food order, but when we can, you're always going to want to do that. On the days you can't, you can't. But when you can, eat in that order. And when you can't, just try to have a salad or something before.
Okay. I have a question. So what high fiber soluble foods would you basically recommend like before? I missed just a little bit, but what would you recommend? Would be easy.
Anything green. Yeah. Anything green, kale, spinach, broccoli, artichokes, but anything green, right? We want to go for the low glycemic, high fibrous foods. So I would just do anything green as possible. There are some seeds that are good too, like chia seeds are really high in fiber. But yeah, for me, the easiest thing to do for somebody who is sort of trying to apply this strategy is to just think about having some sort of salad before their meals. That would be the easiest sort of way to apply it.
Awesome.
Another question from the chat is, how do you stay motivated when challenges come? So I think this is a good time for you to introduce the protocol, because I know we're talking about food, and I know that motivation and the challenges is going into those sugar cravings, and you want to get into some snacks and snacking. So Karen, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm a big advocate of tools and having tools that work for you so that you can actually start applying this, right? And so something that I talk about and promote and advocate for on all my platforms is my protocol, which is a 2-food system. So it's completely food-based. Like if you can eat an apple, you can have my system. It's completely food-based. And it helps people to start to reset that signaling. Okay, it helps to bring the insulin levels down, helps to bring the blood sugar levels down, helps people to become metabolically healthy in 90 days. So much so that I have a full 90-day blood work guarantee. So if you try this protocol and within 90 days, your blood pressure is not down, your cholesterol levels are not down, your blood sugar is not down, your blood markers have not improved, you can get a full refund. Okay, if you don't have any blood work issues, but you're just somebody that may be struggling with weight, maybe I don't know, maybe perimenopause has hit you really hard and you really need a boost, whatever it is. Okay, if you are somebody who's PCOS, whatever it is, if you're struggling with your metabolic health, whether it's weight or fatigue all the time, sugar cravings, whatever, any of that stuff, okay, if you try this and within 90 days, you're just not satisfied with your results, like you're just not happy with your results, you can get a full refund. So I have a full satisfaction guarantee and a blood work guarantee. And I mean, like, your doctor won't even give you that, right? You go to the doctor, they'll put you on medication. They'll be like, yeah, if it doesn't work, we'll just put you on another one, right? So I guarantee people who do my protocol, you will see results. It will change your life. Okay. And so what the products is, there's 2 natural products. They're FDA registered, they're Health Canada approved. We have over 20 clinical studies. We have studies with the University of Sydney, with the Cleveland Clinic, which is the #1 heart hospital in the world. We have tons of metabolic health scientists and like advocates who are hearing now about this protocol. And like I said, I've helped hundreds, okay, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people with this protocol. My family, my friends, and all the people online that come to me. But yeah, I'll explain to you what it is. So it's 2 products. The first part of this protocol is this. What this is a yerba mate extract. So yerba mate is a plant that grows in Argentina, and Argentinians have been drinking this for centuries. It's a green leaf. But what we've done is we've taken that leaf and we've extracted it. So we've taken all the phytonutrients of that leaf and we've concentrated into an extract, which means it's potent, it's concentrated, and it's also purified. So we purify it of any toxins, pesticides, PHAs, etc. Okay, now this actually has less caffeine than a cup of coffee. So if you can drink a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, you can have this. It's very low in caffeine, but it has high concentrations of the phytonutrients that I'm talking about. So what this has is, for example, a high concentration of something that's called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is a natural blood sugar reducer. So this actually helps control blood sugar. If you wear a CGM or you take your blood sugar, if you drink this, you will see your blood sugar reduce 2 hours later. Okay, so this helps you with blood sugar control. It also helps you with mood. Okay, so this also has high concentrations of something called theobromine. Theobromine is the phytonutrient or the compound that's found in dark chocolate. It releases like a sort of like a dopamine, response. And so this has high concentrations of theobromine. So you feel really, really good. Have you noticed that, by the way, Elder Dwayne? Have you noticed that you're sort of like a little bit upbeat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this gives you that like theobromine that also makes you feel really good. So this helps you to lower your blood sugar, feel good. But okay, the other thing is that yerba mate on its own, the plant, lots of clinical research has shown that it helps stimulate that GLP-1 peptide, okay, but naturally. So this is a big important point for me because I am seeing so many people, okay, so many people taking these semaglutides, right? Ozempic, Mounjaro, you name it. And I understand why, because people are yearning for a solution, okay? But that solution comes with so many side effects. So like almost for me, not worth it, right? You have, stomach paralysis, thyroid cancer, so many side effects, okay? And I get it. People might say to themselves, like, I've tried it. Like, I don't care because it works, right? And it does work. But what if I could show you how to do it naturally? What if I could show you how to do it without you hurting yourself, right? And so this is what this does. This stimulates GLP-1 in your body naturally, not agonizes it, not mimics it. It's not fake. It's helping your gut do it because it's helping your gut health. So this helps you do it naturally. So when you drink this, you just don't feel hungry. The food noise goes away. The cravings goes away, right? If you're intermittent fasting, like yourself, once a week or twice a week, you're going to be doing it every single day without miss, without fail. And you won't even be thinking about it. No discipline required. It's just, you just don't feel hungry because it's stimulating that GLP-1. This also has high concentrations of antioxidants. Okay. So it helps reduce inflammation. I have so many people that message me and say, Karen, I have no idea why, but like the pain in my leg is gone. And I'm like, yeah, it helps with inflammation. It helps reduce oxidative stress. Okay. So you will reduce inflammation, reduce blood sugar. Okay. You will not feel hungry all the time. The sugar cravings are going to go away and you're going to be able to actually intermittent fast consistently. Okay. Now, whenever you're ready to break your fast, you break your fast with the second part of my protocol. What this is a 7-source fiber matrix of soluble and insoluble fibers. It has 7 different sources. So it's sources that you wouldn't typically be consuming. This helps blood sugar spikes by 43%. Okay, we've done studies on this with the University of Sydney, which is the home of the glycemic index. We have over 20 clinical studies. We're actually listed in what's called the prescriber's desk reference, which means your family doctor could literally look up our products in their medical references. That is how much clinical research we have. And so this helps blood sugar spikes by 43%. So you have this right before you eat, and that's going to help control your blood sugar. You're not going to feel bloated after, tired after, but also it's going to start feeding that gut bacteria, and it's going to control your blood sugar so you don't crash afterwards. Okay. And so your insulin levels don't spike for that first meal. Whenever you're done that first meal, that's when you have the second part, the second T. So the whole system is 3 a day. You get 60 of these and 30 of these. That's a whole month supply. And you get a bottle like the one I have here, because it shows you the water measurements for each. So it's really easy to like take on the go, take with you. I take it everywhere. So after you're done your lunch, you have your second extract. This is going to give you not only that afternoon pick-me-up, but you're not going to snack. So this is going to eliminate all the snacking that people do in between lunch and dinner. Okay, so you're not going to be snacking anymore. Now, whenever it's time for you to have dinner, you just have dinner as normal. So now people are eating twice a day, not snacking in between, skipping breakfast, not spending money on coffee, okay? And what this costs, so first of all, it's HSA and FSA eligible. So if you have an HSA or an FSA account through your employer, you can purchase this through FSA and HSA. So it's eligible for FSA and HSA. But what this costs if you don't have HSA or FSA is $5 a day, okay? You're taking 3 drinks, $5 a day, a cup of coffee a day. It's $159. And you will save money because you're not going through the drive-thru in the morning. You're not stopping by Starbucks, Dunkin' Donut, wherever it is you stop. You're not going to be doing that anymore. You're going to be skipping breakfast. So you're not going to be eating, you know, eggs and pancakes and whatever you typically would spend on breakfast foods. Like that will be gone. You're not going to be snacking in between meals. So you will save money at the grocery store, right? And now, okay, the 2 most common questions I get asked is, can I take this with my medication? And how long do I have to be on this? Well, really great questions. Number 1 is all you have to do is give it 90 days. Okay. If you give this protocol 90 days, your whole system will be reset. I call it a metabolic reset because insulin will come down, blood sugar will come down. At first, the protocol is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but as you go on to the 60-day mark, the 90-day mark, now your signaling has been fixed. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not a temporary solution. The signaling starts to be fixed because you're engaging in the activity and the ingredients in this is actually helping your body do it. So by the time you get to the 90 days, you're good. Your body's set. Now, after the 90 days, now go try the calorie deficit. Now go try changing the diet. See how much easier it is when your signaling is actually reset. And so I always tell people, just give it 90 days. That's all you need. If you want to do it for longer, be my guest. I've been taking this for 3 years. I'll never stop. You can take it for as long as you want. This has been around since the 90s. It's not new. We have, like I said, tons of clinical research. We've had people take it for years and years and years. Okay, so you could take it for as long as you want. But if you give it 90 days, that's all you really need to give it. You will see huge, huge, considerable, measurable changes. And the second question I get asked is, can I take this with my medication? And you absolutely can. It is completely food-based. There is nothing in here that it will contraindicate with any medication or anything like that. Now, what people will notice though is medication sort of keeps you at a baseline, right? Medication doesn't actually solve anything. So it sort of just keeps you at this level, right? So say we're talking about blood sugar. Your blood sugar with your medication might keep you at a 6.7, for example. Okay, that's your A1C with the medication. As you start taking this protocol, you're like, whoa, hold on here. I'm at like 6 now. What's going on? Well, you're actually healing. Your body's actually healing, right? So as it starts to lower and lower and lower, you might get to a point where you're like, whoa, if I take my medication and this protocol, my blood sugar would drop too low. Great. That's the time you go to your doctor and we're going to wean you off the medication, or you're going to do less or stop taking it altogether. But we work with your doctor with your markers to do that. But all my type 2 diabetics who wear CGMs will notice this in real time happening. They'll notice their blood sugar going lower and lower and lower. And for people with cholesterol, blood pressure, usually that's by the 90-day mark. Although I've had people get off statin medication within 2 months. I actually have a lady who with it. So she was taking a statin every single day. By the 60-day mark, her doctor had said she only needs to take it twice a week. By the 90-day mark, she was off her statin medication. So everybody's different. But 90 days is a good marker of when you will see like medication remission or illness remission, but you will still see results 30 days and 60 days and 90 days. And it's just 90 days is really the peak of those results because your body has taken that time to really heal.
So Karen, before we get out of here, I just want to play some of the testimonials that you have on your Instagram. And then you can tell us where people can find you and where they can get this awesome protocol.
Sure.
changing for me. It fixed my PCOS symptoms. I now have a regular, almost non-painful period for the first time since I was 15, and I'm almost 38 now. I need to lose all the post-miscarriage weight, which I wasn't able to do no matter how healthy I ate or how much I worked out. Best of all, it took my anxiety from a 10 out of 10 every day to a 1 or a 2 out of 10 on a bad day. When I say completely changed my life, it completely changed my life. Like you can see from my before and after, basically what a drastic difference it's made. But if you take that and times it by 10, that's probably what it did for the things that somebody can't see on the outside. It changed my family's life. It cleared my brother's IBS. It got my husband to go from pre-diabetic to normal. It lowered my father-in-law's cholesterol, and it's helped my parents with their arthritis pain.
This is a story from a doctor who was struggling with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and pre-diabetes. He's been using the exact same protocol that I've been using. Listen to this.
My name is Samir Chauhan. I'm also known as Dr. Samir Chauhan. I was suffering from high cholesterol, high blood.
Check out this amazing story. They've been using the exact same protocol that I talk about and use myself. Listen to this.
Scott Taylor here, age 62.
Yeah, these are snippets, so it's not going to play the full video here because it's a highlight reel. But if you go to my TikTok, so same handle, the Blood Sugar Babe, because Instagram and TikTok are set up a little bit different. But if you go to my TikTok, the Blood Sugar Babe, or Instagram, the Blood Sugar Babe, on TikTok, I have a whole testimonial playlist. And you could see, like, I think there's over like 20 video testimonials in there of people who have like been so kind to like make a video for me and just share their story. So you can check those out. There's PCOS, hypothyroidism, there is blood sugar, cholesterol, type 2 diabetes. The stories are amazing. You can check them all out there. They're there. I think you're muted.
So can you tell us where we can find you? Instagram, TikTok. Where can we purchase the protocol?
Yeah. So you can go to my Instagram, my TikTok. Okay, same handle, the Blood Sugar Babe. You can also go to my website. It's thebloodsugarbabe.com. Okay, and when you get to that landing page, there is like purchase the protocol. You could go there. There's also a message me icon. Okay, because I know a lot of people have questions. And so you can actually just message me if you have questions, and I'm happy to chat with you. There's a message me icon there, so you can message me and I'll answer any of the questions you have. When you purchase, so there you go. Buy the protocol or message me. When you purchase the protocol, what you get is you'll get 60 of these and 30 of these. So these have different flavors, and this has a different flavor. Okay, so there is like, for the tea, there's like lemon, there's apple spice, there's like a spicy version. It's called Fierce. For the tea, there's a lemon ginger. Okay, I recommend lemon for the tea. And then for the balance, which is the fiber matrix, there's orange and berry. I recommend berry. And so you can choose your flavors there. You'll see the 90-day money-back guarantee. We ship to all over the U.S. It's a U.S. company, by the way. So this is made in the USA. It's manufactured in the USA. But yeah, you can go there and purchase it through the link. It's very easy, and message me if you have any questions. And you can also just follow me and learn a lot from my content as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And go and check out on TikTok, on Instagram. She gives a wealth of information. I think you talking about the protocol is probably the last 10 minutes of your life. And that's a lot of information, intermittent fasting, different tools, the fasting app, the intermittent fasting app. All of that stuff you get free. So all that information is free. So I would really like to see some of the fit to fight for Christ followers and subscribers to get involved in this and let us know, and then we can maybe 90 days or 60 days or sometimes see back and see what your results are.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a revolution. I would be so excited for that because you would have so many testimonies.
Yeah,
from
I'm gonna be ordering from you, Karen, really soon.
I can't wait to get you off that statin medication.
Oh, for sure, most definitely.
Yeah.
So that is our time. Karen, thank you once again for coming on and speaking to the Fit to Fight for Christ family. And God willing,
Amen.
that's what you want, chat.
Amen. Amen.
God willing, we'll have you back on, and then we can see, some people's results.
Yeah, love it. All right. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
God bless you, Karen.
God bless you as well. Amen.
All right,
Take
guys,
care.
that's our time. Until next time, from all of us here at Fit to Fight for Christ Ministries, we say peace and God bless.